Good afternoon. It's Lace from Edo Connect, and we're here with the ex-commissioner, Commissioner Osaze, to submit his petition live outside the Italian embassy in London. Everybody's quite aware that he was snatched away from Italy in December of 2000 and snatched in Amsterdam in December of 2019. And while he was incarcerated, he saw hundreds of Nigerians also being locked up with the Green Bible. All right. So we have an international reporter here from the local newspaper who has come to find out why Nigerians are gathered outside the embassy. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, I'm good.
You handed your petition in yet?
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, not yet. Because, I was incarcerated in Italy for over 18 months. And unjustly, I went to the trial and I found the charges against me were dropped and were corrected. And I know that there are still other main Nigerians going through the same problem there. So we decided to come here today to drop our petition. Yeah.
But you was arrested in
Amsterdam and extradited to Italy.
Extradited?
Yes, to Italy.
From where?
From Amsterdam.
Why?
I don't know. Because I was arrested in Amsterdam on my way, on official capacity, on my way to Germany. I was arrested with Europol and said I was wanted in Italy for Nigerian mafia organization, which was strange to me.
So you didn't know why you were being extradited?
I don't know. No, we did a trial there. I didn't know why I was extradited. We asked for the lawyers, asked for more proof in Amsterdam. Nothing was forthcoming, other than to say that I was the head of the Nigerian mafia organization and using Article 416, which is the highest Italian mafia criminal code, against me. And they told him, the judges or the prosecutor in Amsterdam, that I was looking at minimum of 18 years imprisonment. So I got extradited to Italy to go face the charges.
So you was extradited with no proof?
Exactly.
So how does that work?
I don't know. It was strange to me. So, and even during the trial, there's still no proof of the crime committed, other than for them to bring forged manual as the only physical evidence in that case.
What is their evidence?
Oh, up till now there was no evidence. Only for the prosecutor to say that he has been on the.
But the Italians said there was evidence,
exactly.
So there must be something.
Well, the only thing, because I went through the long trial, and the judge on the 24th of November 2020 asked the prosecutor, Dr. Stefano Castanelli, where is your evidence of the crime committed by Mr. Osemwegie that you call him a mafia kingpin? And what he did, he handed over a manual that he called Green Bible, and said that this Green Bible is the operational manual of the association that he accused me of. And when we went to the manual called the Green Bible, we found that the manual was forged.
What is the Green Bible?
Exactly. He said it's a manual of the association, operational manual of the association.
A manual of what?
That the association used for their crime. The Nigerian Mafia Association, he called me the head or the kingpin used for their crime.
So what did the manual say? Did the manual give you instructions how to be a gangster?
Exactly. When we went through the manual, we saw that the manual was actually forged. Because it said, first of all, on page 14 of the manual, paragraph 3, it states that we that are criminal organization involved in the importation and exportation of firearms, importation and exportation of drugs, prostitution, human trafficking. Of course, the characteristics of Article 416B was described on paragraph 3 of page 14 of that Green Bible.
But it's for mafia, not for Nigeria.
No, even the mafia. Is there any organization that will put in a manual that they are criminal organization? That was the same question I asked the judge and the prosecutor. And on page 31, 32, and 33 of that same Green Bible, they have a communique of the GCA convention held in 2017 at Sabah in 2017 on page 31, 32, and 33 of that Green Bible. Then on this page 51 of this same Green Bible, you have paragraph 6. It states that this Green Bible was written in 1978 by University of Benin students. And I asked the prosecutor, how can we have a book written in 1978 and we have a communique of effect of 2017 inside a book that was written in 1978?
So the Green Bible was written by students?
According to the prosecutor.
So what's that got to do with you?
Exactly. No, the association, he said it was Green Association manual, operational manual.
So it's a manual. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm finding this difficult to understand.
Yes,
So
sir.
it's a manual how to do bad things.
Yes. Manual for the
I'm now
association.
saying that you read that.
Yeah, because he said
And
I was
did
the,
that.
yes, sir. No, that it was operational manual for the association. And he said I was the kingpin, I was the head of the association because of a public meeting that I attended in 2013.
There was an allegation against you that 3 chaps that you knew that you was at a party at
Yes.
had committed crimes and you were the boss.
Yes, exactly. 2 chaps. He brought them to
2,
collaborate. Yeah,
not
2
3.
No.
Okay.
There was 2 of them, Nosayaba Iyare called Ajay and Geoffrey Thomas Amoride. And these are the boys that the prosecutor is using as his collaborator in Italy, putting innocent people in prison. So they came to court and I was able to tell the judge and the prosecutor that those boys are not collaborators of justice. They are liars. They lied, they deceived the prosecutor because he wants to be deceived by them. They deceived the justice system of that country and the police. And of course, on the 29th of May, when I was released, the judge, Judge Paolo Gallo, asserted that they lied.
So, if you did all these crimes, where's the money?
Exactly. Exactly.
No, not exactly. Where is the money?
That's the same question we asked them because they said I was receiving 35,000 euro every 3 months, which is about 17 million naira, and I'm doing a job of less than 1 million naira a month.
Okay. So you've got no track record. There's no money in your bank account.
Nothing. Everything was submitted.
It's legitimate.
Everything was submitted. My statement,
Everything.
my house, my lifestyle, everything about it was submitted. The CROB from UK, sent by the British Embassy, who were very, very helpful because my MP contacted the British ambassador in Rome and they visited me over 3 times.
Who is the MP?
MP is Mr. Stephen McCarthy.
Okay.
Is the MP.
And he's been supporting you.
Very, very supportive because my wife and my friend cried to him and told him there's injustice on my husband in Italy that he should come on. And immediately he contacted the British Embassy in Rome and they came to see me. So they visited me 3 times. They were fully involved in the matter. They wrote a letter that was very helpful during the trial, talking about my records in London, that I've lived there for over 24 years with no criminal record, and that they are interested in the case. Yes, that they cannot interfere in the judicial process of that country. Yes, they cannot get involved in the case trial, but they know that I've lived in London for over 24 years with no criminal record, that they are interested in the outcome of the case.
But if you hadn't been so able to produce good legal support, you wouldn't be off now, would you? You'd be in jail.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
is there anyone else in jail?
No. Yeah, there are over 300 Nigerians that I left behind that I know of. They are in jail. I was able to get a trial because it was very expensive to hire the lawyers that stood by in Italy. They were very expensive, but they were very good as well. So, those boys, the over 200 or 300 Nigerians that are left behind, are not able to, pay for their lawyers. The prosecutor gives them government lawyers that he manipulates against them as well. He used those lawyers to put these boys in prison. It cost me over £56,000 to pay for lawyers. And that was money contributed to savings from my family and money contributed by friends and family all over the world.
But didn't they offer you an opportunity to have house arrest?
Oh yes, they did. They did, because what happened after I got extradited from Amsterdam to Italy, we went to the Freedom Court. My lawyers challenged the arrest procedure by the prosecutor. And on the 9th of March, we went to court. The judge, Elizabeth Barbara, was the judge. And he said, yes, the prosecutor did not follow the right procedure for my arrest, i.e. I was not given any English papers from Amsterdam to Rome throughout that period. And again, I was not invited at any time before the arrest and asked that I should be released immediately. They were giving me a release paper on this hand and they were arresting me with the prosecutor's arrest warrant on the other hand.
Yeah.
So after April, we now applied for a house arrest. My lawyers applied for a house arrest. The prosecutor refused. He denied it. Then July 10th, when we went for a pre-trial, we now asked the judge, prosecutor now asked my lawyer that if I accept the short trial, he will give me house arrest.
When you say accept the short trial, accept your guilt
Exactly. Accept your guilt, plead guilty, and get
to something you didn't do.
do exactly. And that is what he's been doing. And that is what he has done with over 300 Nigerians that we have in prison across Italy.
What you're saying, those guys shouldn't be in prison
They shouldn't.
at all.
No. Yes, some of them commit crime. Some of them do credit card fraud.
What
Some
sort of crime?
credit card fraud, cannabis on the street. Some of them constitute nuisance. They fight themselves, which I'm really against. But the Article 416B, which is the highest Italian mafia criminal code, should not be used for this Nigerian.
No, I agree with that. Your code, the code, shouldn't be used for the likes of small crime.
Exactly.
But what about the violent crimes?
The violent crime, there are laws for every crime committed.
Yeah.
Like in Nigeria, you cannot arrest a pocket picker, somebody stealing from your pocket,
Yeah.
and put kidnapping or armed robbery charge on that person when you did not find any gun.
But
This
you
is very
accept
simple.
that some of that 300 should be in jail.
Some of them for the crime they committed. Yes.
Correct.
It may be 6 months, or 1 year, or 2 years. And if you have perpetual criminal, they should stay longer. But not arrest anybody because we of relationship or friendship or on Facebook or even the same association. Because they say some of them are cultists. They should be arrested if they commit crime as cultists, for cultism, and according to the law. But not Article 416B, which is the highest Italian mafia criminal code for organized criminal organization. These boys are not even as organized as that. They cannot even organize themselves. So to be charged with that Article 416B, that is my take. That is my protest.
So, if they bugged your phone, which I understand they did,
Yes.
for 4 years,
5 years. 5 years of this.
and what did they get?
Nothing. There was no single conversation between myself or any of those boys in Italy.
None.
Nothing. And among
Did
those,
you speak to someone else?
no, I speak to people in Italy, of course. I speak to friends.
No,
and
but did you get someone else to speak to those criminals?
How can I do that?
I
No,
know.
nothing like that. And
didn't?
when he finished his investigation, he had 9 of them who were doing the credit card fraud and sales of cannabis on the street. And he sentenced them, he gave them extra sentences. Oh, 3 years, 4 years for doing cannabis and the other one. Then the other people, there was nothing, like myself. You could not pin any crime to me, other than the fact that you said I attended a meeting in 2013.
So, you are a free man now,
Yes, I am a free man, that's what I'm doing.
and you're back doing your job.
Oh, well, of course, fortunately, I lost my job as a commissioner.
Sorry. So, you lost your job
I've lost my
for
job.
something
That I did
you
not
didn't do.
Exactly.
So, they're going to give you your job back.
Well, I don't know. But the politics in Nigeria, if you're not part of the system, it depends on the governor. So that is a discussion for another day. But at that point in time, because I was not around for a long time, I lost my job. And my health as well. I've never been to the hospital. My blood pressure rose from, normal to abnormal. It became abnormal because I was now on pills every day in prison, morning and evening. I slept on a 6-spring bed. We were only allowed 3 hours a day out of the 24 hours. And I was locked up in the room with strangers.
It does seem strange to me that you're an innocent man. Here you are, with nothing. Thank you very much. And if you want to hear more, please watch our podcast.
I believe, and everybody behind me believes, that he was wrongly snatched from Amsterdam on the 19th of December 2019, spending 18 months finding over 300 Nigerians being arrested illegally in Italy is why we're here. These people are not mafia. Nigerians do not have the capacity to commit mafia offenses. We're here to ask the Italian judges to be fair. If they have committed any crime, try them for the crimes they have committed.
In Nigeria? No. Mafia in Nigeria? No. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. Thank you very much.
We are here in front of the Italian embassy in London to submit a petition of my unlawful arrest, detention, and my trial, and for some other Nigerians that I met while I was incarcerated in Italy over trumped off mafia offenses and using Article 416B by very corrupt prosecutors in Italy. We are here today in London to submit our petition, and I came with my very good friends and close friends that decided to join us in submitting this petition today. 4 weeks ago, 26th of August to be precise, we were in Lagos to do the same thing, and we made a promise that in 4 weeks' time, if we do not hear from the Italian authority, we are coming to London. And today we are in London. And if we don't hear from them today as well, we are going to Brussels and submit our petition at the European Parliament in Brussels. If we don't hear from them, we'll move on to the European Court in Strasbourg until the world knows what is happening and why we are being profiled in Nigeria. This is the height of racial discrimination and racism against black. Our life matters. Nigerian life matters. Black life matters. We matters. So I'm here today, I will read the petition and will submit it here. I write up for myself and on behalf of many other Nigerians. Some of them have been released, others still imprisoned, to bring possibly one of the most profound human rights violations against Nigerians and black perpetrated by Italian authority to your attention. My arrest, my name, of course, is Osemwegie. I was a former Honorable Commissioner for Arts, Culture, Tourism and Diaspora Affairs, Edo State. This was a high-ranking cabinet position in the government of Edo State, which is one of the federating states that make up the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In that capacity, I was in charge of promoting the culture and tourism in Edo State, taking charge of the affairs of Edo people in the diaspora on behalf of the government of Edo State, with a direct reporting relationship to His Excellency Governor Godwin Osaze, the Executive Governor of Edo State. In this capacity, I was traveling to Berlin, Germany on the 2nd of December 2019 via Amsterdam for an official meeting with the Nigerian ambassador, Ambassador Mohammed Tuga, and other Edo indigenes in Germany to discuss, amongst other issues, ways to retrieve the stolen artifacts of the people of Edo State. I was arrested and detained in Amsterdam and subsequently extradited to Italy on the 21st of February 2020, where I was tried on trumped-up charges of belonging to even being the kingpin to a Nigerian mafia organization. My trial in Italy, upon my extradition, I was charged with belonging to a criminal organization under Article 416bis of the Italian Mafia Criminal Code before Honorable Justice Paolo Gallo, sitting in Ordinary Court of Torino in the trial constituted in Italy. The prosecution team led by Dr. Stefano Castellani stated that the Green Circuit of the Association, of which I was a member, and visited Italy on the 21st of September 2013. In my capacity as the Vice President was a mafia organization. Notably, GCA was registered in the United Kingdom, here in London, as a charity organization. In Nigeria, as a registered trustees of the Green Circuit Association, the equivalent of a charity in the United Kingdom, and in Italy as a charity organization. Throughout the course of my detention and trial, I was not shown any law or regulation that outlawed or banned the GCA as a mafia organization in any part of the world, including Italy. The prosecution team, led by Dr. Stefano Castellani, was well aware of this. They were also made aware of the fact that I did not and have never resided in Italy or carry out any business there, and that as at the time of my arrest, I was a high-ranking cabinet officer holder in the government of Edo State, Nigeria, as stated foregoing, and that before occupying that position, I had gone through rigorous security checks prior to being cleared by the Nigerian security system, without which I could never have been confirmed by the legislator of Edo State to occupy such position. And the reason I traveled to Italy in 2013 was to ensure that the legally registered members of the Green Circuit Association carried out their activities in accordance with the tenets, rules and objectives of the GCA. In spite of the foregoing, the prosecution team proceeded to try me and on the false charges of belonging to a criminal organization, and attempted to secure my conviction based on, among other false pieces of evidence, a forged document they call the Green Bible. The prosecution team had indeed attempted to prohibit and cajole me to accepting a short trial and pleading guilty to these false charges leveled against me in exchange of house arrest. Realizing that I had done nothing wrong and no proof of any crime committed under the laws in Nigeria, Italy, and indeed elsewhere, and being of the strong conviction that I was innocent of the charges, I rejected their offer and instead chose the option of a long trial to establish my innocence. The judgment of Honorable Justice Paulo Gallo handed down on the 29th of May 2021, His Lordship found and established, among other things, that I did not belong to any criminal organization, and the Green Circuit Association is not a mafia organization, and the Green Bible, which was the main planks upon which the case of the prosecution was built, was a forged document, and that was the only physical evidence presented by the prosecutor in this whole trial and in this whole case. The court established that I was innocent of the charges leveled against me, and I was initially released on the 29th of May on house arrest, and then finally released without restriction on the 1st of July, having spent a total of 1 year and 7 months in prison awaiting trial. My background prior to appointment as commissioner: I've lived in London for over 22 years, working for London Underground, and paid my taxes, contributing positively to the United Kingdom economy. I've never committed any crime anywhere in the world. I have a wife and I've been married for 23 years with 3 children, ages between 22, 20 and 17. And we are all dual nationality, that is a British and Nigerian. We have established our family home in UK despite the fact that I took up the appointment as Nigerian commissioner in Nigeria. I maintained every close contact with my family and speaking with them daily. My pains and suffering in the course of the trial, which lasted for 19 months, it has been a horrendous experience, being held in a high security prison and also being transported from one prison from Rome to Torino on the 2nd of September 2020. For instance, from Rebibbia prison to Rome to Torino, I was made to sit in a van, handcuffed and holded up. We offered no food and water. By the time we arrived at Torino prison, I had not taken my medication for that long, and my blood pressure measured over the normal state. While incarcerated, I was only allowed to come out of my room or the cell for 3 hours out of 24 hours each day. I was only allowed to speak with my family for only once a week. Given my prolonged absence from duties as commissioner, I was relieved of my position as the Honorable Commissioner for Arts, Culture, Tourism and Diaspora Affairs. Aside from the humiliation and reputational damage this cost me in my political career, I was consequently unable to provide for my family and support my aged parents in Nigeria. I spent an enormous amount of money, supported by friends and family, to hire legal teams in the United Kingdom, Nigeria and Italy to defend myself. Above all, my family, especially my wife and young children, were traumatized and were made to go through long period of distress and untold hardship in the United Kingdom. This was exacerbated by the fact that I was separated from my family during a time that the world had never seen before, and when they needed me most throughout the global COVID pandemic, which took hundreds of thousands of lives, particularly in Italy and the UK. The prosecution, by prosecution, it remains my considered view that the prosecution team led by Dr. Stefano Castellani was and remains intent on prosecuting Nigerians in Italy and consequently manipulating the judicial and prosecutorial system to boost its profile by falsely accusing some Nigerians, irrespective of the crime they may or may not have committed, of belonging to mafia organization. In 2013, unlawfully manufacturing and doctoring evidence the forged Green Bible with the sole purpose of jailing those Nigerians and unjustly profiling some Nigerians prosecuting them and setting them up to be jailed through the short trial system in Italy under Article 416b. This is racial discrimination. This is wickedness. This is profiling of color, of race by Stefano Castellani. I therefore wish to use this medium to draw attention to the fate of other Nigerians who have also been similarly falsely accused, tried by short trial, and incarcerated in Italian jails under Article 416b. While I was detained in Rome and Torino prison, I met a good number of Nigerians who were detained in that same facility. Among those, some of them, Francis Oke-Igwema is from Anambra State, Nigeria. Stanley Amachuku is from Anambra State, Nigeria. Aslem Ewa John is from Edo State. Abebe Jackson from Lagos State. Daniel Jude Chike is from Imo State. Efeto Bore Ogenetega from Delta State. Sam Davis Cleese from Delta State. Ataga Kingdom from Edo State. Irauna Kenneth from Edo State. And Essien Michael from Akwa Ibom State. These people are still in prison as we speak. Aside from this, I can confirm that I have the names of over 200 other Nigerians that have been or are being detained under the same Article 416b. On the 28th of October 2020, 70 Nigerians were arrested as mafias, and the only evidence that was shown on TV was a kitchen knife and a clip of communal fight between the Ijaw and the Shekiri over 10 years ago in Nigeria. Their trial has been postponed again to October. On the 26th of April this year, a further 51 Nigerians were arrested in Bari for being Nigerian mafias. And the only clip shown on television was one video by one of the famous actors as proof of evidence. On the 26th of September 2020, 20 Nigerians were sentenced to 140 years. And the appeal started on the 20th of September after they've already spent 2 years in prison. The same forged Green Bible used against all these individuals was proven to be a forged manual by a competent court in my case on the 29th of May 2021. My case is simple. This is notable and upright Italian judges have concluded following a long trial in my case that the same evidence, the Green Bible, used to convict all these Nigerian men who no doubt accepted short trials offered by the prosecution was forged, and therefore concluded that there is no such thing as Nigerian mafia. It should therefore follow that these men should be released and or free from these charges being leveled against them too. Our demands, in light of the foregoing, I hereby make the following demands. The immediate, unconditional release of all Nigerians detained across Italy in various prisons, falsely accused of belonging to Nigerian mafia using Article 416b. Fair and adequate compensation to those Nigerians who served their various sentences. Having been unjustly tried and convicted under Article 416b of the Italian Criminal Code, based on the forged Green Bible, fair and adequate compensation to those Nigerians, including myself, who were unjustly detained, made to go through the rigorous of trial, eventually had the charges of mafia involvement dismissed. The continuous harassment, profiling, arrest, detention, and prosecution of some Nigerians under the guise of Article 416b should stop forthwith, because there is nothing like the Nigerian mafia. A court of competent jurisdiction in Italy has so found on the 29th of May 2021. It is my position that Italy, being a member of the European Union, having subscribed to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of the United Nations, should and must follow due process in prosecuting Nigerians and indeed anybody who commits any crime in Italy. I now make an urgent call for you to ensure that justice, as indicated above, is seen to be done in these cases. I conclude, we will be aware that I have already carried out peaceful protests in front of the Italian embassy in Lagos on the 26th of August 2021. You'll also be aware that we are conducting a peaceful protest in front of the Italian embassy in London today, the 30th of September 2021, where we expect to deliver this letter to the Minister of Justice of Italy, to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Italy, and to the Minister of Internal Affairs in Italy. In view of the urgency of this matter and seriousness of the issue raised, I expect to get a satisfactory response to this letter, adequately addressing the issues raised herein within 4 weeks of receipt, failing which we shall mobilize to carry out peaceful protests at other Italian embassies worldwide. I shall also take steps to submit petition to the European Parliament in Brussels and the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg, France, against the Italian government and the chief prosecutors of these cases, Dr. Stefano Castellani. I sincerely hope that this will not be necessary and that the requests made are taken seriously. I do note with grave disappointment, however, that a similar letter was sent to His Excellency at the embassy in Abuja, Nigeria, on the 30th of August through DHL, to which we have not received an acknowledgement, let alone a response. I do hope your response will be more forthcoming and engaging with a view to settling these matters, which raise enormous and extensive human rights breaches of hundreds of thousands of, if not thousands of Nigerian men in your prisons, perpetrated by Italian authorities and individuals. Should the matter remain unsatisfactorily resolved, please note that we will have no choice but to consider laying complaints against those responsible, including Dr. Stefano Castellani, before the European Human Rights Court Commission and the Court of Human Rights for gross and unwarranted violation of my fundamental human rights and the rights of some Nigerians who have been erroneously detained in Italian prisons. Please ensure that any responses are sent to my legal representatives whose contact details have been set out below in United Kingdom, in Italy, and of course in Nigeria. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Wait.
Minister, Umayo Amatakaba.
Okay,
Grazie mille.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Sure.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.